Okay, so we're going to be making a ginger Dijon sauce, and we're going to use that to go on our grilled asparagus we'll be making here shortly. Now with ginger, this is a piece I took from my freezer. I always keep it in the freezer, that way it doesn't go bad. And you just need to peel off some of the sides of it, and then I'm using my little knuckle buster here, as we call them, and I'm just going to grate the ginger down into fine bits so that we'll have that for our ginger sauce. Now if you don't have access to fresh ginger, something that you can do is use a dry powdered ginger, and you can buy that in your store. However, I do caution you, if you're using that kind, go very, very slow with it. Don't add a whole lot to begin with. You can always add more, but once you've got it in there, it's really hard to take it out. So if you want to have a good ginger flavor without it being so overpowering that you can't eat it, make sure that you get just a tiny little bit. Start out with like 1/8 of a teaspoon and then go move up from there. Depending on the amount of sauce that you're making or the amount of whatever you're doing. This particular recipe, I would say no more than 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, because you want that bite from the ginger in the sauce, but you don't want it to be about the ginger. You want to be able to experience the other flavors as well. So I'm going to grate. This was about a 1-inch piece, I guess you would say. That I've grated here. And there's lots that's going to be stuck up inside of the grater as well, so you do want to dig up in there and get that out, much out as you can. Of course, you do have your ginger. Okay. Now we'll start our sauce. And we're going to start out with some plant-based butter, and you can buy this butter. This is Country Crock's. This one is actually made with avocado, I believe, and it's quite tasty and very useful. I can't tell the difference in it and regular butter, and it's a little bit better for you than having the regular butter. And you want to go over, this is like a medium-low heat. I've got my stove burner set for 3, and it goes from 1 to 9, so that's about where you want it to be. We're going to melt this butter. And while that's melting, we're going to add in about 3 teaspoons, good healthy teaspoons of brown sugar. Just a little bit more or less. If you like it sweeter, you can add more. If you don't like it as sweet, then add less. And brown sugar does have a tendency to clump, so if you discover you got clumps, just mash those out. It'll melt down, and they're going to melt with the heat either way. And now what we want to do is going to bring this up to a boil. I'm going to take just a minute to do that. I'm going to increase the heat just a little bit to about 5 so that we can get that boiling good. Okay, now you can see that this has actually come to a boil. And so you have your butter and your sugar there, and you want to kind of stir it with your whisk just a little bit. And to this, we're going to add just a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Whisk it again, and we'll let that come up to a boil as well. Take a couple of minutes. And next we're going to add some Dijon mustard. I'm going to eyeball it, just a couple of squirts really is all we're going to need. It's around 1/4 cup. I'm going to stir that in. And now we're going to add our ginger in. Now, always make sure that you have rubber spatulas on hand. That is your lifesaver in a lot of instances. You got that rubber spatula, you can save lots of money by getting everything that you need into the pot. So now all we're going to do is we're going to continue to stir and whisk this for a couple of minutes. And you can use a non-stick pan if you want to. I just don't prefer the non-stick. My grandmother always said non-stick pans were for people who didn't know how to cook. But I won't say that. I'll just say this is how I like to. I'd rather use the metal pans, the good stainless steel pans. And it smells so good right now. You're getting all the hints in there. You're getting a little bit of that vinegar in there, but you're also getting a lot of that ginger and that Dijon. And this is going to make an impeccable sauce that's going to go over our asparagus. Or you can serve this over. You actually can use this for chicken nuggets if you have kids, or veggie nuggets, or you can use it on top of broccoli. Anything where you would use honey mustard, you can use this. It's a little different than honey mustard. The taste is very, very good, but you have that ginger bite in there, and you also have that Dijon instead of just having like a honey and mustard sweetness with a little bit of creaminess to it. And this sauce, you just want to, you can serve it hot or cold. If you're going to put it over a hot vegetable, I would use it like a hollandaise. I would serve it hot. And I believe this is about the consistency that I'm looking for. So we're going to let it sit here for a little bit. And look for my other video that I'm going to have for the asparagus that we're going to do. I'm going to do it in my Ninja Grill. And that way you'll be able to see if you like that appliance, and if you do, then you know you may want to get one for yourself and try it. It's a really great way to fast cook things if you're not really adept in the kitchen, or you're new to cooking. It's a good way to do that. And I'm gonna give this just a little taste just to make sure we got it right. And we did. That's wonderful. So I hope you like this recipe. I hope you'll give it a try. And like I said, look for my other videos coming out. And I look forward to hearing from you soon. And please like and subscribe. Or you can comment if you have certain dishes that you want to learn about, or cooking techniques you want to learn. I'll be more than happy to make all the videos that you want. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, and have a good evening.